Here we are, folks. Week 4 of Kaijun 2026. Man, I can hardly believe it's almost over. But mind you, it's not over yet. There are still 2 more days left, and we have to tally up the scores from the Team Accelerationist and Team Stewards challenge and figure out which side has more submissions. Now, before we take a look at the final week of Kaijun 2026, I just want to extend a really hearty congratulations to everyone who participated in this month's challenge. A month-long drawing challenge like this is not easy. It requires time management, commitment, creativity, and endurance. Even if you only managed to do a few days, or if you fell behind at some point, you should still be really proud of yourselves. And I hope those of you who did participate made some artwork that you're really happy with. This has been a very hectic, if not fulfilling month for me. I've been doing these kinds of challenges for a long time, and the last few of them that I've done have felt a little not very good. I don't know if that's just my own self-criticism, or maybe I was just in a bad place when I did them, but I haven't been this proud of a month-long challenge in a long time. I think almost all of my pieces from this month are pieces that I can be really proud of. I genuinely impressed myself with some of this work, and I think that I'll still be happy with a lot of these, even in a few years' time. I also never fell behind on a prompt this month. I think almost every time I do a challenge like this, I end up missing a day or two, and I have to play catch-up or combined prompts to stay on schedule. This month, I actually uploaded a new piece every day, and that is exceptional even for me. I think I improved a lot with technical skills this month as well. One of my main goals for this challenge was to work with more complex light rendering, and I feel like I really was successful in that regard. Improving technical skills can be challenging, and can sometimes feel like a bit of a drag, but the sponsor of today's video, ArtWad, makes learning new skills fun and engaging. ArtWad is an online learning platform specifically designed to help artists of all skill levels grow and refine their art. ArtWad offers a huge variety of lessons that can help you master the fundamentals or hone your ability with more challenging, complicated subjects. ArtWad isn't just another collection of boring, uninteractive lectures. Instead, ArtWad makes learning fun via their engaging, gamified lessons that can be completed directly on your computer or your tablet. No artist, myself included, is ever done learning. Recently, I explored ArtWad's Intro to Painting course to refresh my rendering basics. The lesson begins with exercises designed to help you understand value relationships, which are the backbone of painterly art. Intro to Painting forces you to think carefully about how both harsh and soft fields of light and shadow combine to create 3D form, and the course's instant side-by-side feedback makes it easy to identify your mistakes so that you can learn faster. Practicing without feedback can build bad habits. This way, your practice is actually productive. In addition to their huge selection of professionally crafted lessons, ArtWad also posts weekly drawing challenges that test both your drawing skills and creative problem solving. These challenges are a great opportunity to put what you've learned from the coursework into practice. I think my favorite ArtWad feature is the Community Hub, which is a really amazing resource for connecting with your fellow students to seek and receive critique. The Community Hub has built-in tools for providing redlines and drawovers, and also provides guidelines for leaving constructive feedback. Now, artists succeed together, so learning how to productively participate in critique is really the other half of learning how to be a great artist. Right now, ArtWad is running a big discount on their yearly plans, and if you use my link in the description, you can get 30% off their premium plan. Check out my link today if you want to level up your art learning with ArtWad. Thank you to ArtWad for sponsoring this video, and now, without further ado, let's have a look at the 4th and final week of Kaijun 2026. Day 22, Astral. The destruction caused by the Goliath known as G42 has yet to be matched. By some spectacular stroke of luck, or perhaps divine intervention, the asteroid-like Goliath struck from the sky not in any human-populated area, but on the unexplored continent of Antarctica. The light from the explosion of its impact could be seen for miles, from the shores of South America, Africa, and Australia. Earthquakes ravaged the southern hemisphere, and tidal waves battered nearby shores for months afterwards. The entirety of G42's impact on the surrounding ecosystem has yet to be investigated, as the Antarctic seas prove too hazardous for scientists to navigate. Scientists can only assume that most, if not all, living species were wiped out within seconds. Even in the prosperous days of the roiling revelry, G42 has plagued humanity with ceaseless questions. Where did it come from? Are there royals in the sky? Is the Goliath still alive? And when will it come for us? Day 23. Visceral. Since the disastrous failure of Chimera, other automaton manufacturers have attempted to weaponize living tissue to enhance their products. The most successful of these attempts was developed by award-winning bioengineer Wei Long as part of her work for the Aegis Initiative. Instead of stitching together the dead body parts of a Goliath and bringing them to life, she created a blueprint for a functional automaton and built 80% of it out of organic materials. Guilao Mark I stood at 120 feet tall, much larger than many contemporary automatons. It was able to move with grace and fluidity that only muscle and sinew can afford. This scientific breakthrough caught the attention of scientists and business folk alike, and positioned Long at the forefront of the anti-Goliath industry. According to public records, her contract with the Aegis Initiative was not renewed. Who employed her afterwards is unknown. Day 24. Artificial. Earlier automatons were sometimes designed with the Goliaths as inspirations. By modern standards, the Drachenfaust is a clunky, inefficient automaton and a crude impersonation of the actual Goliath it was built to resemble. At the time it was used during the war, however, it was known as the Artificial Dragon. The automaton was able to bring down multiple Goliaths after being deployed around Europe for 3 years. It was retired before the end of the war once newer models caused it to become obsolete, but it remains on display in the German town where it was built as a proud memento of the ingenuity of early automaton engineers. Day 25. Natal. When it comes to the matter of Goliaths, indecision can often lead to disaster. Towards the end of the War for Mankind, a Goliath was felled in close proximity to a royal in the jungles of South America. The process of removing a dead Goliath is lengthy and expensive, and for months, local officials argued back and forth about what would be done with the body. After the Manhattan Convention, when the line was drawn between stewards and accelerationists, this issue became an opportunity for advocates on both sides to make their point. Stewards insisted the body should be broken down and reused, as Goliath corpses had been before. Accelerationists insisted the body should be destroyed entirely, claiming that reusing any part of a Goliath posed innumerable risks. The political gridlock left the body rotting in the heat of the jungle for months, though the stench was hardly the primary concern. Inside the putrefying corpse, another Goliath was slowly growing, feeding on the viscera within. Minokora emerged, 3 times the size of the Goliath it was feeding on. Experts believe that it will only get bigger. Day 26. Doom. The news spread slowly about the emergence of Minokora in the jungles of South America. Comfortable in the status quo of the roiling revelry, couldn't be bothered to care about a giant worm somewhere so far from home. The war had been won, and there was nothing more to fear. Surely an automaton or two would be dispatched and make short work of this nuisance. When a decision was finally reached and the forces were mobilized to take action, it was already too late. No longer a lush jungle, the land where Minokora had spawned was burned and barren. Intense heat radiated from a giant, glowing cocoon that made it impossible for humans to approach. Projectile weapons were burned up and destroyed before they could reach their targets. Automatons melted and failed from hundreds of meters away. Something pulsed from within the amber husk. Darkness fell, and all was silent. Day 27. Seraph. The roiling revelry was a time known for peace and prosperity. Politics sometimes caused tension, but on the whole, humanity felt safe and content. Perhaps this is why the emergence of Minacanyo from its chrysalis was never reported on. The countless lives lost, the destruction of the natural land on a scale comparable to a mass extinction event. Such devastation could send waves of unrest throughout the world, disturbing the peace. When the Earth's temperature rose by 8 degrees that day, and for a moment there appeared to be two suns, many looked up at the sky and smiled. What a lovely day, they might have thought. Regardless of who knew it, the angel of cataclysm rose high into the sky, setting fire to the air and raining death on all below. Very few who bore witness to this biblical destruction survived, let alone could comprehend what they saw. Minacanyo burned out, rising into space and dissipating into embers that sparkled in the night sky. The desolation it wrought will not be so easily undone. Day 28. Minuscule. Apocryphal rumors rippled across the globe, unsourced reports of disaster in South America. Stewards blamed accelerationists for their indecisiveness. Accelerationists blamed stewards for their lack of action. None but the few survivors of Minacanyo's ascension truly know what happened that day that the sun rose at dusk. The rest of the world can only sense the paradigm shift. For days after the unexpected disappearance of Minacanyo, the skies above were gray and purple, and the world was trapped in a murky haze. Embers fell gently from the sky like luminous snowflakes, followed by clouds of fiery red butterflies. Beautiful, some were heard to have said. Others cowered in anticipation of the end times. Eventually, blue skies returned. The embers ceased, and the red butterflies dried up and scattered like ash in the wind. Many would carry on, hoping but not knowing that the worst was now behind them. Our cities still stand, our people still prosper. We have peace, we have safety, we have comfort. There is no need to fear. History will remember these days as the end of the roiling revelry. So, that's day 28, which means there are still 2 more days before the month is over. And, like I said before, we still have to announce the winner of the Unveil Challenge. So, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna upload one final video, one with all of the prompts that I did this month, including the last 2, and in that video, we'll also tally up all of the submissions from the Unveil community page and determine which side, of the Accelerationists and the Stewards, is the winner. And just as a reminder, I'll be designing a sweet-ass wallpaper with designs from the winning team for everyone to download for free, so keep an eye out for that at the beginning of July. And now, to wrap up this video, let's have a look at some of our favorite fan submissions from the 4th week of Kaijun 2026. This illustration, done by user MossyStone23 for day 28, explores the little-known science of Goliath reproduction. They wrote, "How Goliaths reproduce has been one of the greatest questions of the war, as well as the roiling revelry. It seems that what Imperador Lernea left behind might just reveal the answer. Debates often rage on for months about what to do with the corpses of fallen Goliaths, which often allow life to find a way to continue. Leftover brain matter from Lernea had begun to develop into another living organism in the form of asexual reproduction. What arose was another genetically identical baby version of Lernea. The 3 heads possessed smooth brain matter and curious personalities, suggesting that Rufus was a genetic mutation of stunted growth by the brain cortex. The baby Goliath was moved to an observation facility while cleanup crews are actively being dispatched to burn the remains before any other Goliath arises." This piece was done by user The Scale Carver for day 19's prompt, Mystic. They wrote some lore to accompany their illustration. Another Goliath has made itself known after years of eluding local Scottish fishermen. The legend of the Loch Ness Monster has been well known in the Scottish Highlands for centuries, but with no concrete proof after so many alleged sightings, it was becoming hard to believe its existence. That was until recently, when peace finally started to form after many of the most deadly Goliaths were slain or repelled. There grew more supposed sightings of the Loch Ness Monster, but the physical descriptors were stranger. It was now larger, more colorful, and had kelp-like fins. It finally showed itself as it stole a net full of fish from a fishing vessel over a year ago. Despite its thievery, the creature appears to be not hostile. and would rather hide in the depths or hunt only the local aquatic fauna. Many accelerationists insist the Goliath should be euthanized, as it could pose a threat to the locals, but many stewards and locals defend the creature. Its elusive nature, graceful appearance, and passiveness make it a not clear threat like many other Goliaths, and it has raised tourism to the lake. Some fishermen even joke about finally having the chance to catch a real Nessie after one had eluded them for so many years. Next up, we have this submission done by user Avoli for day 25. This story accompanied their artwork. In 1925, the population of Cambodia witnessed a magnificent meteor shower. Yet, this spectacle was the last thing they ever saw. Doctors who examined the victims found that their retinas had been burned, as if they had stared at the sun for too long. According to numerous accounts, the shower lasted only a few minutes. Teams of stewards and accelerationists, accompanied by automatons, were dispatched to the site to investigate the cause of this blinding phenomenon. After several weeks, they finally discovered it. A great, luminous creature featuring a shark-like jaw emerging from a body that resembled the starry sky. It emitted brilliant orbs of light that, like tiny stars, would explode after some time. The creature appeared impervious to attack and impossible to move. An automaton carrying a powerful bomb was sent into an opening at the base of the creature's neck, successfully penetrating its body. The resulting detonation was so violent that it was heard from miles around. The Goliath then evaporated, leaving behind only its jaw as a trophy. This jaw was subsequently displayed in a museum as a memento of the Goliath, which had been named Lightbringer. User Goated with Sauce created this awesome automaton for day 27, Seraph. It was one of the few designs for this prompt that was an automaton and not a Goliath. They wrote, "By the time that Ravinius arrived in Rio, there was an answer ready to greet it." Throne was deployed early after years of experimentation. Ouroboros was never able to perfect it. The automaton was far swifter than its hulking size would indicate due to being created with the remnants of a previous royal. The pure energy of the beyond fueled this great monstrosity, and despite humanity's best wishes for it, despite its angelic appearance, Throne had no regard for human safety. Its sole purpose was to eliminate Goliaths, and the damage left in its wake was severe to all of Rio, caking it in the splayed feathers and broken bones of Ravinius. Upon finishing its task, Throne was instantly recalled, and Ouroboros could take no credit for their years of toil and effort. And finally, user Evo combined the prompts of temporal and astral to create this stunning design. They included a brief field log to accompany their piece. Often found floating through space, this mechanical Goliath measures time with its cane. It functions like an hourglass, but instead of sand, it is filled with tiny star-like specks. What does it count down to? Unclear. Log end. Alright guys, that is almost the end of Kaijun 2026. Give yourself a damn big round of applause because you absolutely nailed it. Hundreds of participants, even more submissions, and so many amazing pieces of artwork and engaging stories that you all have created. I really can't express just how proud I am of all of you. If you haven't already, be sure to check out our Unveil community page that's linked down in the description, and check out all of the amazing submissions that have been made for this month's challenge. I will see you all in the grand finale of Kaijun 2026 when I will announce the winning faction of this month's challenge. Congratulations everyone, and happy Kaijun.